Welcome to Stonehaven Farms, everybody. Here we go.
Welcome back to the farm, everybody. It's chicken processing day.
Oh, you're yelling in my ear.
Sorry. Welcome back to the farm, everybody. It's chicken processing day.
So our Yardbird Chicken Plucker that we've had for a few years now.
Only used a few times.
Got it used, but practically new, and feel like we've had problems with it probably every time that we've pulled it out of storage.
Yes. And the Yardbird Chicken Plucker is notorious for water getting into the motor and into the electronics. And I pulled it out yesterday, kind of looked in there, and all the wires and fuses and everything's corroded. So we need to process our chickens. They're a few days over 8 weeks, and it's time, and we just got to get this done.
So because we don't have access to our chicken plucker, we've got a couple of different methods that we can use, and one of them we've never done before. So we watched a couple of YouTube videos last night on how to skin a chicken, which I guess the con to that method is that you don't get any of the skin on the bird, and we like skin on our chicken. So that's not our preferred method, but we're gonna try it just to see how it goes and see if it's easier than hand plucking, which is our other option. So we're still going to, we've got hot water on the boil, we're still going to scald
And pluck?
Yeah, so we're still gonna scald the chickens, but we're gonna have to hand pluck them instead of using our handy dandy, well, not so handy currently, chicken plucker. So we're gonna let you follow along with us as we try both of those methods. We'll see which one we like better. We've got about 40 chickens, 40 Cornish cross chickens that we need to process today. And so we're gonna get started.
All right, let's go.
So if you've been following along with us at all, you know that we've been moving these birds around on pasture in our chicken tractors. And so we're just gonna grab a couple and show you how we do this. Got it? Mm-hmm. So these are killing cones, and basically when you put the chicken upside down, it puts them into sort of a sleep, if you will, and then we are going to, well, slit their throats and let them bleed out here. It's the quickest, humanest way to slaughter a chicken.
So you need to reach up inside the cone and kind of pull their head out so that you can get access to their jugular right here. And you're not cutting their head off, you're just making 2 slits here so that they can bleed out and they don't feel anything.
YouTube does not like this part, hence this lovely black screen. All right, so while those chickens are bleeding out, we'll show you our setup real quick. We have got an ice chest with water and ice in there. When you're done scalding the birds and gutting the birds, you want to get them into ice water as quickly as possible. We've got our stainless steel table here, and we really only need 3 things. We've got a knife, we've got some shears, and then this isn't necessary, but it's super handy. It's a little tool we got off of Amazon that takes out the lungs. I bleached and washed down all of our equipment before we started. We've got some totes over here for when we cut up our meat later. And then over there at the end, we've got our scalder. But it is currently at, well, between 130 and 170 degrees, I think is where you want to be at to scald a chicken. It has to be hot enough to be able to pluck out those feathers, but not so hot that it burns the chicken and starts cooking it and peeling off that skin. You don't want that. All right, so we'll try the skinning method first, and we'll show you that.
All right, so first thing you want to do is take off the legs.
Taking out the legs is pretty simple. You can feel the joint when you bend their knees, and you basically just cut between it, and it comes off fairly easily. Just cut off the head with a pair of shears.
And this is the part that I don't really like about skinning a chicken, is that you do lose some of the wing meat.
You're basically like degloving the chicken, so you have to cut off the wing with some shears, and you end up losing part of the wing.
Make a small incision.
Now, where did you make the incision?
Right along the breastbone. Basically pulling the skin back. Just gonna work it down to his leg and work back up to its little arm. And this is like the hardest part, where the skin doesn't want to come off the drum of the arm. Can you grab the hose?
Mm-hmm. I'll give you some rinse. Good?
Yeah. Voila. You have a skinless chicken. Now from here, you want to take off these chicken wings.
So you do want to be a little bit careful about where you're cutting into the wing, just because it cuts into the breast meat.
And we're going to take the thigh off.
So this is the breast, and you kind of just have to work along the breastbone and then along the ribs.
Yep. That's it.
So with that method, you don't even have to necessarily gut the chicken.
Which makes it pretty fast and cuts out a whole step. Okay, 2 breasts, 2 legs, 2 thighs, 2 drums.
It's pretty fast.
How long did that take, you think?
Less than 5 minutes.
Less than 5 minutes. 1 bird done. Okay. Now we'll show you the next process. Let's put these in the totes.
Yeah. So since we just cut this bird straight up, then we'll put the sections in the fridge so they can cool down.
Okay, method 2. We're gonna scald this bird and try and hand pluck it. When you're scalding, you want the water to be hot but not too hot. So around 135 and definitely under 170. And you're gonna wanna have a glove specifically for putting your hands in hot water. And you can kind of feel once the feathers are easily start plucking out. You know he's been in here long enough.
So the feathers come out fairly easily, but it's those little feathers at the end that kind of takes quite a bit of quality control.
It's so much nicer with the chicken plucker. I don't know what we're going to do about that. I'm going to try and take it apart and see what's going on inside there and see if it's something that I can fix. But it might be toast, and it might mean that we just have to invest in a new one next year. We still have some turkeys that we want to process, and hand plucking whole turkeys doesn't really sound like a lot of fun, because with the turkey you definitely want to have the skin on so that you can roast it like your traditional Thanksgiving bird. And I really like cooking the chicken whole on the Traeger with the skin on. It's kind of my favorite way. And you can see this is quite a long process. I've probably already been plucking and scalding for more than 5 minutes. And when you're doing a lot of birds, this is just not efficient.
All right, I can take that one and work on the rest and show them how to get one and take it apart if you want to go get more.
Okay.
So we're going to cut off the head. So I'm going to go ahead and cut off the feet. So again, if you take the leg and just kind of bend it, you can see where the knuckle is. And you can really easily just cut open, break it, and then cut between it. And there you go. And that's it for the feet. All right, so the first thing that we're gonna do when we're gutting is up by the neck here, we're gonna cut a small slit. And then we're just gonna open it up with our fingers. You wanna find the crop, which is attached to the breast here. And you just have to dig your finger in there and peel it away. once we get the crop loose from the breast, we also have to dig underneath towards the neck and get the 2 tubes. You just, again, shove your finger under there, pull it loose, and pull it back so that when we gut it, it should just pull right through. All right. So now at the back side, we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to make a little slit. And then we're going to reach in there, the fingers. Quite get all the way through. And we're just going to open up the fingers. So now we've got access to the body cavity and all the guts. We're just going to reach in there with our hands. Kind of do a sweep around. Drag everything out. Cut off the tail. Okay, so now we've got our gutted chicken, and I'm going to use my handy dandy little tool and reach in here and scrape out the lungs. Really a savior on the knuckles. There we go. We're going to give her a rinse. Okay, and she's gonna go in the cooler.
All right, we thought we would weigh one of these birds to see how much they weigh before we process them. Let's turn this little scale on. We're zeroed out. So this one looks to be about 7 pounds.
7 pounds with the guts in.
7 pounds unprocessed.
So we finished processing all of our chickens, ended up being, I think, about 40 total. And we didn't take you through every single one of them. It would have lasted hours and hours, which is actually the time that it took for us to complete everything. So after we had the birds in the cooler for a while, we brought them inside. We pieced them out and did more quality control. I separated the legs from the thighs, and I actually deboned the thighs, which takes quite a while, but that's the way that we like our chicken. And then we vacuum packed everything and put it in the freezer. So I'll show you guys what everything packaged up and frozen looks like. So we've got everything in the freezer here, kind of mixed up with some pork. So let me pull this out, some ground pork. Doesn't necessarily look pretty, but here we've got a tote full of just breasts, and then we've got a couple of whole chickens right there, which we folded in half and did a spatchcock, and then we've got our deboned thighs, and then all of the rest of our drums, our wings, and then our thighs and legs that are still together. But that's it. That's what our chicken processing looks like for the year. Next batch of chickens comes in March, so until then, we've got the winter to rest and enjoy the chicken that we've got in our freezer. We'll see you guys next time.